I got a story for you, bro.
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put all my savings in there. I remember it was all gone.
How much did you lose?
And it's embarrassing, but you know what? Just for so anyone out there who can hear, as of now,
Welcome to the Students of the Market podcast, where I dive deep into the world of trading with some of the most fascinating people in the field. Joining me today is Bhuvan, a skilled trader who graduated from the real world, an online course founded by Andrew Tate. He reveals the strategies, the tools, and the mindset that got him there. He may not have reached his wildest dreams yet, but he for sure is on its way. Without further ado, this is the story of Bhuvan.
My story starts in 2021 when it comes to trading.
the way it started was during COVID when 2020 everything was shut down. At that point, I was around 24, I want to say, when COVID happened, 23 to going into 24. And, everyone's sitting at home and we're all looking at the world, changing. And going into 2021, I'm sure if you heard about the GME and AMC, the short squeeze that happened back in 2021. So when that happened, obviously I took part in it. And at that point, I work as an account manager in a bank. So I had at least decent amount of savings. So when you see a stock climbing up like 20-30%, everyone around you is talking about it. I had no idea how stocks worked at this point. Let's keep that in mind as well. I had no idea. So I put 10,000 on my savings, and it goes up to almost like 15,000. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put all my savings in there. It was a very, very naive mistake. It was a very naive mistake, but I did. I once we get off the interview, I can send you the screenshot as well. I'm still holding those stocks till this day, because I'm down like 90% on it. So it's like no point of selling. The bag's still holding. And that kind of started it. It kind of opened my eyes. I'm like, how is this possible? How can a stock go up, 100% overnight? What is a short squeeze? Oh, then you find out what the market maker is. I'm like, because, the whole time the world teaches you, I just knew you buy a stock over time, in 10 years, you look at your portfolio and you might retire. That's what I always was told. That's what everyone told me about long-term investing. I call it the Warren Buffett style. Everyone told me about that, like buy and hold S&P and you're good to go. And prior to that, I just bought, just simple indexes. Like I just bought ETFs, didn't really know what trading was. But yeah, that kind of opened my eyes, because when the stock crashed, I saw my portfolio legit turn negative, and this was my hard-earned saving, like everything that I never went to college. I just saved my money. I worked. It was sad just looking at my portfolio.
You put all your money in there,
All my money,
and
yeah.
it squeezed, and then bam, you saw everything just crashing.
I got rugged, and then and even when it happened, people, I was on that Reddit forum. It's called like Superstonk or like whatever AMC's forum. On there, people are like, oh no, this is just the beginning. It's gonna happen again. And then I bought, and the thing is, like, then I started like averaging down. 6 months later, I finally like realized, I'm like, no, this is not the way. Like, I'm like, nobody gets rich this way. It was heartbreaking because like all my savings were down.
How much did you lose?
Oh man, it's embarrassing. But you know what? Just for so anyone out there who can hear, I would say as of now, it's close to, around $50,000 USD.
I think I'm also went somewhat down 50,000 USD, but you had your savings. I had borrowed money, which is even worse.
The pressure.
Yeah, sure, nothing can go wrong. I have something that works. It works for a short time, and then reality hits.
Ooh.
It's crazy how fast it can all get taken away. Right? But thing is, at the same time, a lot of my friends who are still hoping for it, like they, obviously this wasn't a lone decision. This was like something that was happening in our circle. And there's still a couple of my friends, they're still hoping for the squeeze to happen. But when I saw my portfolio was down close to 90%, I think even more now, man, I stopped looking at it. I just put it in my tax-free savings account. From there, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to let this be. It's already down 90%, let it be. But now I want to learn what trading is. I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, because I'm sure you heard when all the thing happened, it was like something to do with the options, like gamma squeeze, all that. I'm like, what is this? Okay, what is trading? Only thing I knew about stocks was you buy and hold, you're good to go. I had no idea what derivatives were.
So you made the choice from fuck my losses. Okay, I'm not gonna look
Yeah.
at it. Money is gone. Maybe something will happen, but now there is a possibility to make money on it. This is not it. How can we go further? And how did you?
So this was all around, I would say, around June, July 2021, where I realized I finally accepted it. You know what? Lost money's gone. Time to like do something about it. But thing is, there was a bull market because the money printers were on. Every stock was going up. printers were fucking around the world, they were on. So stocks were just booming. Through AMC and GME, I discovered what options was. So, and I was like, okay, what is options? So clearly, whatever money I put in, I'm not actually buying the stock, but I just have to a contract, and the returns can be substantial if my timing is right. From there, first I started with, let's just say 2,500 or 3,000. I'll double check again. I'll send everything over to you. So this was in July 2021. I took like $2,500. This is Canadian, so around 2,000 USD. I didn't even know how anything worked. It's like, I set up a TradingView account. It was free. I remember that weekend so clearly. I was just on YouTube, just watching videos like, what is day trading? And there's so much bullshit out there. There's so much like gurus, this and that. And long story short, within 2 days, the money was gone too. Because I just had no idea what I was doing. It was just so naive, man. But thing is, I was hungry. I was hungry to where like market took my money. I want to learn this. I mean, what is this? Clearly, this is powerful. This is very powerful. This can change lives. Right?
So you lost your money basically twice already. Why didn't you give
Twice
up?
now.
Let's backtrack a little. So I'm actually wasn't born in Canada. My family's from India. So I'm 28 now. And at the age of 14, I moved to Canada. So everything's been a challenge always. So I don't know if you know much about India, but compared to India and Canada, it's a completely different world. Schooling was different. First of all, English. I didn't even know how to speak English, and I had to learn that. So the adaptation was there. So I just wanted to learn how the system works here. I'm like, clearly there's a system. I want to make dollars. Right? So that's why I got into sales. That's why I didn't go to college, because I knew sales was the way where you're not capped to a salary. Right? So that's why I got into sales. And then from there, being around banking industry, there's so many successful people, and I've been very curious my whole life. So I asked them like, hey, what do you do with the spare money? What do you do? And they're like, well, buy S&P index, buy NASDAQ, buy this, buy that. If you're in Canada, energy is very big. So like stocks like Enbridge, Fortis BC, these are like some big energy stocks. So that I bought those. The reason I didn't give up is because I saw the power of options. I saw it firsthand. I knew what it was. And it's that drive of just not giving up. And I've always been uncomfortable since I moved to this country. It was my money. So you can say maybe I took it personal. Now market beat me twice. I just don't like losing. And I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean it in a revenge way, because then I'll just hurt myself. I mean it in a way that, okay, this happened. It's my fault. I didn't know anything. But there is a way. There people make money in this business. There's people make millions in this business. There's nothing different about them. If they can do it, I can do it. I just need guidance. I just need something. At this point, you remember Andrew Tate was blowing up. So I came across content. First, I found him funny. I knew he was satire. I knew he was like very like, I'm like, look, this guy's pretty cool. But I never believed in Hustler University. He's probably just like driving traffic into this platform.
Now we are this far. So you lost your money twice. You were looking, you didn't know where to go or what to do. Andrew Tate was blowing up. Something clicked there, some message.
You have to realize, in my mind, since I lost that money, everything, all I'm thinking about is stocks. For 3 to 4 months, all I'm thinking is stocks. I can show you the books that I read too, The Richest Man in Babylon. All I'm thinking about is stocks. So I'm on Investopedia. I'm understanding what Greeks are, how the delta works, how the decay works. If you don't have the right entry, how much money an option can lose overnight. What's 0 DTE, 2 days, why do you need to expire? I'm just trying as much as I can, but I still don't have a plan. I haven't traded again yet. Let's keep that in mind. Once I lost that 2,500, I'm like, okay, I need to take a break. Because this is my money. My savings are draining now. I'm down to like barely. You have to realize the AMC GME is still there too.
You're holding on to those losses.
I'm in a deep hole. Yeah, I'm holding on. And plus on 2,500 lost again. And now I'm like in a deeper hole. Savings are draining. I work in a banking industry. So it started to slow down. So I had to be very careful. I'm like, okay, I can't be throwing money for the sake of like, hey, it's going to turn something in overnight. That's gambling.
So you lost your money. You needed a game plan. You were researching, finding information everywhere you could because you lost the money and you knew there was a way and you were determined to find that way. How did everything went back to the real world or to Hustlers University?
Now fast forward to, I would say, November. At that point, it was like $50 per month. I think even still is $50. At this point, I really started developing liking to Andrew Tate as well. I'm like, clearly he has a good message. Whatever you watch, eventually you start to like come in peace with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. I mean, I go out, I live in Canada, man. Like, you go out for lunch at a restaurant, you're spending $100. Like, I'm like, and this is only $50 a month.
I want to return back on the price because when I research, for example, swing trading strategies of Adam Koo, you pay for, in total for all the lessons around $5,000 to $7,000. If you join Warrior Trading, you pay, I think, around $5,000 or $3,000 you pay for that. If you join Humble Trader, think for her university is now $1,000, $2,000. This is $50.
It's kind of funny how that works because it was so cheap. That's why I thought it's a scam, because it's so cheap. Because any trading, you know firsthand, bro. Like anything you click on is $500, $1,000, $2,000. You don't take it that serious because $50 in today's world, especially where I am in the world, I'm in Canada. $50 is nothing anymore. The inflation is so bad, like it's nothing. Like I said, if you go out to a restaurant to buy a meal and a beer, you're spending $100. So I was like, you know what? I'll still give it a try. Clearly the guy's honest. I like it. And sometimes you just feel an energy of someone. You just connect with them. And even though I never met the guy, but I could see through what he was saying, the real message he was trying to send to the men. So I joined. First thing I noticed was a community. You feel there's help everywhere because we all are on the same mission. And that's what the first thing that clicked with me. I'm like, okay, you know what? Even though if I don't make money, I just love being here. And the professor is an open door policy, a real millionaire. And you can DM him and he's talking to you, whatever you need, as long as you're willing to work. There's no free handouts in this place. I always want to make that clear. I talk to the newer students in the campus almost daily basis. I'm one of the experienced guys.
Now you joined, you were totally clueless. Let's say you lost the money, you're reading about the strategies, you're searching strategies on YouTube, you're searching everywhere. And you say you're now one of the experienced guys. One day you were not at all. How did you go from not at all?
This was in November, like I said, I joined, but then I actually made the decision to fully invest myself in January. This was like a New Year resolution. Let's do this. I went through the courses first. So with the system that's taught is called the boxes. So you have to look for consolidations, looking at a stock price that's in a previous support and resistance levels, and you look for a breakout to happen. So then you can enter as a swing, or you can do a short-term trade. That's up to you. So from there, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is nice. And first thing that he kept on saying in the course is do paper trading. Don't use the real money. Use paper trading. Get used to everything. And I would say middle of January, I decided to, okay, let's open a paper trading account. Tried it, saw it in motion. I'm like, okay, this is actually, I'm kind of seeing what it is. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm ready for this. So in February, middle of February.
So how long were you in the paper trading account?
Paper trading, I would say I did it for a full month. So middle of January I started, then February 15th or so, I still remember when I deposited the money. Again, from my savings.
And were you immediately profitable when in the paper trading and in the real money?
Yeah, so I was profitable. At that point, Professor was still giving us some trades, but they're very minimum. Obviously, I followed the system and maybe it was a time of the market, whatever it was, everything was still kind of bullish. I made money on the paper trading. I saw the returns, but at the back of the mind, I know I'm down bad on my actual money though. So I was very keen on just going in with real money. I'm like, okay, I feel like I understand it. Let's do it. And now with paper trading, I personally, it was hard for me to take it a little bit serious because at the end, I know if it doesn't work out, it's fake money. So I'm like, you know what? I want to take a risk because I'm very disciplined when it comes to that. When I know money's in my line, I'm more focused that way. So I took the 3,000, put it in. I was profitable immediately. I went up to maybe 5,000 in about 3 weeks. But now looking back, I feel like the worst thing that can happen to a new trader is going profitable instantly. The reason I say that is because the euphoria takes over. You start to think the game's too easy and the market it'll humble you, man. It'll humble you.
With being immediately profitable, it's a knife that cuts at two sides. Yeah. The bad side is obviously that you get overconfident. You start risking more. You go in and then eventually you fall on your face. But the positive side on getting immediately profitable is you know it's possible. You know it's possible even when you fall on your face, even when you go lose everything again, you know, fuck yes, I made a mistake. I can build up, I can get up again.
And that's the power of trading. It's so powerful. Like every time that candle is moving up and down, I have a very different approach to it now, the markets. And it's crazy how much a year can change. Every time that candle is moving, that's buyers and sellers. This is somebody either deciding to sell or buy. I think it's a beautiful machine that works. And if you have the discipline, once you have that realization how powerful this is, that's where the game really changes, right? But I'm still very early in my journey and I made the money and I got overconfident pretty quickly. I'm like, this is sick. I'm here now. Like I'm making money. I remember I was so loud about it too. Loud in a way, still like I was just showing to my friends, hey, I did this. Like, you know, look, I took this trade. I made, look at that. You know, I 2x my money and I was in the trade for maybe 7 minutes and look at this. And then like you said, that exact thing happened to me where I got a little bit overconfident and I started risking more. I'll be very transparent. I did 100% of my portfolio on some trades where let's say it went to 5,000, then I went fully in on Apple and it worked out again. So within about, I would say 2.5 months, I went from 3,000 all the way up to 14,500. I still remember that. I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know, like you open the calculator app and
Oh my God, I will be a millionaire in no time.
If I do this like every month, in about by this time next year, I should have 500K. You know, like.
I remember I have myself like a whole spreadsheet. Like if I have my returns, they go that way. Then then I'm a millionaire. Or then 10 million.
It's crazy how that works. But the thing is, like you said, eventually markets know how to humble you. They will do it, and it sucks because the rug gets pulled. And it's not market's fault. I remember I blamed the market. I'm like, oh, these market makers, they try to wrong my trade. I'm still like very new to this. I'm only like 26 at this point. I'm still very new to the whole trading live, like day trading. No, I wouldn't even say I day trade now. I'm more of a swing trader for sure. But at that point, I'm like, oh, why did this happen? Like this was supposed to go up. Like blaming everyone else other than me. I didn't realize like this was 100% of my portfolio. So the margin of error is so high on the odds are completely against me because one wrong move and it's all gone. I don't have the funds to go again. And that's what happened. It went down. I think it was like Google or Microsoft, one of the stocks out of the Magnificent Seven that I was in the trade, and I got rugged. I had calls, but it ended up being, who knows what happened. But basically the stock went the other way and I was down like 70% and I still had like, I would say 3,000 left in my account. And instead of like accepting the loss, I averaged down. I'm like, no, tomorrow's going to be a different day. And that was like, I remember it was all gone. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast it can all get taken away, man. It's crazy. That's one thing I was shocked. I still remember that when the bell rang, the closing bell rang that day, I looked at the account and I'm just like this, I'm speechless. I'm like, this was so fast. It sucks. Like you said, like you fall on your face and it's like a disgusting feeling on the inside. You know, I'm like, why? Like it's crazy how that felt. I still remember that.
How eventually did you get out of the feeling and what lessons did you take away that time?
For a week, I didn't do anything. By that I mean I did not trade. I did not look at. I still showed up to the campus every day, and I still looked at the daily analysis as posted. I still watched it, but I was just quiet. Something everyone in my family realized it too. Like you're just quiet, because I'm just thinking, what just happened? But at the same time, I saw the power firsthand of what trading can do. I saw the power too. So don't get me wrong. I wasn't like shitting on the market at this point. I'm just like, you know, after a couple of days, it finally settled in, and I realized I'm like. Courses told me to, if you have this amount of account, you should not risk more than this amount. I'm like, okay, let's review my trades. What did I do? 100% portfolio in this trade, 100% portfolio in this trade, 100% portfolio in this trade. It was bound to happen. I was in risk management. I was in follow. Courses were telling me in the real world, they were telling me, professor clearly said, I think the first or the second lesson, one of the first thing they go over, risk management. If you have this X amount, do not risk more than this. If you have this amount, do not risk more than this. If you have this amount, do not risk more than this percentage. And so basically revisited the courses again, watched it again. And this time I actually DM'd professor. I didn't even know he was going to reply or not. And next thing you know, I see the red thing go up. This is still in Discord. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Basically very open, right? So I told him this is what happened, and he was super helpful. He told me what to do. He's like, you have to realize this is all your fault. I can't do anything personally for you, but you have to know that the patience is the key with this game. You have to believe in the real compound interest. You have to believe in showing up every day. There's some days where you should not trade, and now looking fast forward. Not trading on the days that you feel like trading is the best thing you can do to yourself, is just sit on your hands and not do it. Because when your system is telling you not to trade, but you feel like trading because you haven't pressed buttons in like 2-3 days, you're just going in out of feelings, right?
Yeah, the quote that I like about it is, trade the markets you are in, not the markets you want to be in.
Yes, exactly. You said it perfectly, bro. And that's the thing. And looking back now, the more you trade without a system, you're just kind of gambling at that point. You're expecting results and you're just creating a situation out of nothing. In May of 2022, decided to restart again. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Felt good. Took some time away from the markets, working out every day, reading, and actually focusing on the mindset of I have to adapt this mindset in my real life too, not just in trading. The mindset, you have to carry it everywhere with you. You have to look at the world in a very calm way. You have to look at why things happen, and you have to take accountability, right? So I started again. I think this time around was 2,500, I want to say. 2,500, because I still blew this account too.
Tell the story. How did you go up and go down again?
Yeah, so this one was actually a quick one. So basically traded, same thing, but this time I was taking it so slow. Eventually I got restless again. I saw an opportunity. I'm like, okay, I've seen this trade play out multiple times. This is my setup. Let's do it. I went in. I don't know why. I could not tell you why I did it. Maybe it was greed. And I went in 100%. And I think it was a CPI data report coming out the next day or something. CPI or one of the PCEs, one of the reports coming out. Basically, long story short, markets did not like the reaction and we went down. And just like that, again, the journey was over. And I'm like, here we are again. And you can't blame anyone but me. So this was a quick one. But once again, I did not want to give up because I'm like, okay, I have a good strategy. I have a good system. It's my mind that I need to fix. And to all the newer traders that I talk now, I'm like, you can have the best strategy ever, man. You can have a strategy that plays on 80% of the times. But if you don't have your mind fixed, you're just a ticking time bomb. You have to really, it's the discipline, it's the respect. I promised myself, if this time doesn't work out, I'm putting down the pen for good. I'm like, this is it, because I don't like this feeling of not liking myself when I don't do something that I promised I was going to do. You feel ashamed. You feel like, wow, I said it 3 times and I blew it all 3 times because I didn't follow what I said I was going to do. So November, tried again, took it very slowly. Actually, even though I was told to put me not more than 25%, I'm risking like maybe only 15%, 10% max at one point. And on $5,000, that's only $500 that I'm risking. But thing is, I'm treating, in my mind, I made a note. I'm like, I'm going to treat this as my savings account. This is my savings account. And as long as I'm going up a little bit every month or every other week, it's good. It's like I'm paying myself. Just like how I take money from my paycheck every 2 weeks, I put some in my savings. That's what I'm doing here. And I don't need to go shoot for $100,000, $200,000 to being profitable. Let's just get used to seeing green. And I accept it. I'm like, not every trade's going to be money. I'm going to lose. But as long as my risk is managed, at least I'll have multiple lives. Started very slowly, did not go aggressive at all. Showed up to the campus every day. And I have to say, man, this Professor Ayush, amazing guy, man. His mindset, his guidance, his worldview, how he teaches you. I had a pretty pessimistic view around the world at this point still. But one of the AMAs, so we have weekly AMAs. I still remember hearing his word. He's like, you have to look at the beauty in the world. And you have to look at all the positives in the world. Otherwise, if your perspective doesn't change, if your eyes are the window, and if you don't change the window, then you're always going to either focus on the negative, that's going to drag you down, or you can appreciate the beauty of the world and look for the positives. When I did that, I started looking at trading as a positive view too. I have to stop saying that to myself, markets are rigged against me. I'm not even going to try to beat the markets. I just want to flow with the markets now. I'm not trying to fight anymore. And that changed something in me. That changed because every time before that, one thing I did not realize until I adapted this mindset was I was very pessimistic towards the market. I'm like, markets are against me. They're going to run the stop price down to hit my stop, even though there's like fucking million people trading every day, man. You know what I mean? But I'm like, you know what? Instead of beating the markets or trying to front run the market, I'm going to just flow with the markets. I'm just going to be patient and wait for the markets. One thing about the markets to newer traders, it's only going to go up or down. You just have to figure out which way you want to trade. And being a trader, it's a very beautiful career because you're recession free. It doesn't matter if the world is burning and the stocks are going down. If you're patient, you can make the money on the downside as well, just as the upside. So why fight it? Why try to fight the market when it will give you either way? So when I changed that view, I started being very optimistic instead of pessimistic. That changed my whole game. Then March of 2023, started increasing the risk a little bit. So just by a tiny bit, started rolling in. At this point, I'm still maybe averaging only 500 to 1,000 a month. Some months I'm not making anything. Then the summer was very sideways for us. I don't know if you remember the 2023. We were in a sideways consolidation. We had the banking crisis too, as the SVB crisis. So there was a lot of like FUD going on, and my rule was, okay, when there's uncertainty in the markets, I'm just gonna sit back. I'm not even gonna trade because I'm still very new. Let's not get overconfident again and thinking I know the markets when I have not experienced trading in a crisis before. One thing Ayush told me, the professor in the campus, he said, be very careful when there's crisis going on, because if it doesn't get resolved, sure, we can keep going down. But when it gets resolved, within 5 minutes, the markets are going to start shooting back up. And you do not want to be on the wrong side either way. So just wait. You don't have to trade all the times. And I was listening. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit quiet. I remember we didn't trade for the longest time, like 2 weeks. We didn't do anything.
How difficult was it not to trade?
Well, I had my day job to distract me from myself too. So, and the thing is, I live in the West Coast time zone. So it kind of works out fine for me because markets open at 6:30 a.m. and I start my real job at 7:30 a.m. anyways. And I get to work from home for that job too. It's easy just to check in for the AMAs, do it. And I'm like, okay, the market looks like the panic is still on the street. I'm okay with sitting back for distracting myself. But, there's some times where I'm like, oh, once again, you kind of look at it. I still have my paper trading account. So I would just take a trade. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to buy a put, just for sake of like practicing and back testing. Why not? And I'm like, oh, if I had that real money, I would have made a good trade. But at the same time, once again, because I'm so scared, you have to realize my mindset is if this time doesn't work out, you're giving up. And at this point, I'm so involved in the markets. I just love it. I love waking up every day knowing that today's going to be something different. Like it's that excitement. And I don't want to lose this feeling, man. I'll be very honest. The reason I'm so careful with trading now is because I'm scared of not being able to do it, because I promised myself if this time it doesn't work out, if I blow this account now, I'm never going to touch trading, like day trading again. I'll still invest in stocks, sure, but I'm not going to day trade. So the fear of not being part of the community, the fear of not being able to trade, the fear of just feeling free, like the feeling that I get when a trade goes successful is that I'm one day closer to being a free self, if that makes sense. So I don't want to lose that feeling. To keep that feeling, if I have to sit on my hands for 2-3 days and not trade, I'm more than happy to do that now. I'm at that point in my career now where I'm like, you know what, clearly this works. It's all within the mind. The candle is moving up and down. That's somebody making money. Just wait for your time. There's this thing where markets are a big ocean and there's going to be hundreds of waves. When you're standing at the shore of the ocean, you see hundreds of waves. And let's say you're a surfer. As a surfer, if you just go at any wave, you're asking to get wiped out. As a surfer, what does a surfer do? He waits at the shore. He looks far in the distance, waits for the wave to build up that he wants to ride, waits for it. When it builds up, he runs towards it then. He gets on it, rides the momentum, and then he ends up back at the shore. There's hundreds of other waves happening at the same time too. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, markets are a big, big ocean.
I love that you make that analogy because my friend, she was learning to surf. I was trading. And the way she was describing surfing is like, yes, and that is exactly how trading works.
You don't just run at the wave.
Take every wave. You take the wave that is perfect, that particular wave.
You see it build up from the distance
and you let it come forward. You're like, okay, there it is. You know the timing. You're ready with the board. You're like, okay, I'm going to go attack. And same thing with trading. There's millions and millions of dollars flying around every second. You can't expect to grab every single bit of it. You have to wait. You have to follow your system. And then when you charge, you enter a trade, let it play out. And then when your stops are hit, either you stop or your take profit is hit. You simply get off the wave and you look for a new setup. You're back at the shore now. You enjoy it. And then you either want to go back in, you can go back in the ocean. Or if you want to just call it a day and go back and have a steak, you can do that too. So that's the way I look at the markets now.
And how much is your strategy the same as the strategy you're taught? And how much did you put of yourself in your current strategy?
100% of my strategy is what's taught in the real world. 100% of it. Because like I said, I was very naive when it came to the trading side of it. And whatever's taught in there, I took it and ran with it. With my backtesting, what I realized is around 65 to 70% win rate with the strategy that's taught inside the system. So I think that's very good.
What's the risk reward ratio to that?
You can get a 1 to 2. I would say 1 to 2 very frequently. If not, there's some days, like let's say we had the last 2 months we have the Nvidia plays hit like, they gave 1 to 4 returns, 1 to 3 returns. So it's very situational as well. We're in what market cycle we're in. So, but the strategy works in every condition, except for when the markets are pretty choppy. I personally don't like to. There's some people that go in the smaller time frames and use the box system. I'm at that point in my life where I don't want to sit in front of a screen, like all day stressing about it. I like my setups on daily time frames or weekly time frames. I don't mind if it takes 10 days, 20 days, 30 days for consolidation to break out. But once it breaks out, I enter, make my money, and I'm out. Very simple, very calming, slow and steady.
And how long are you in a trade on average?
Average trade, I would say anywhere from 2 to 5 days, I would say, roughly. 2 to 5 days. Yeah, I would say swing trading, I would say if it's a weekly, then I can see it go 4 days. But honestly, I'm very once the trade is in profit, I do monitor it pretty actively. And let's say if I get to 80% profits on a trade, I'll start to take a little bit partials out, just a tiny bit. If I have 5 contracts running, I'll take 2 contracts out, let the 3 run. And once it hits another stop, another target, I'll take 2 out, leave 1 as a runner. I'm like, you know what? I already hit my target, but clearly the momentum is still there. I'll just let 1 be a runner. And the moment let's say it goes down, I'll go I'll just cut it out. Then at this stage, I risk only 10% at one given point, no more than that. So that's roughly $3,000.
So for each single trade, if a trade goes wrong, you risk 10% for each trade.
Yeah, no, in total, like at one
or
given point.
or in total for your portfolio.
In total.
So
in total, yes.
If all the active trades go to shit, you lose 10%.
The moment it hits my stops, I will take it out. So it's not really like I only lose 10%. I might only end up losing 7% because I do take some of the risk back then. So it's a very conservative strategy, like very conservative risk. But then again, as you can see in my month over month progress, like, I'm hitting 5 figures now for the last 2 months, especially. I'm more than happy with that. Like it's beautiful. And I feel like being in the game, people forget that you're going to have your time in the markets. Like, there's going to be phases where you're just not going to win because market conditions are different. They're just not in your favor. And you have to realize that and accept it for what it is and wait for the trend to pick up again. So, for example, last 3 months have been really good because we were in such a consolidation phase. And in October, with the whole Middle East conflict happened, markets, started to go down quite a bit. And again, I did not trade in October one bit because what I've been taught is that whenever there's a crisis, just wait, especially because since I'm a student of the market still, I barely have 2 years under my belt as active trader. I don't want to presume anything. I don't want to try to front run a market trend flip. I don't want to try to do something that I've never done before. And especially if I'm witnessing it for the first time. Sure, if another crisis happens now, I might be ready for it because I've seen it played out firsthand. In my experience now at this point, half of the shit that I read about the stocks was a lie, man. Like with all the things about, oh, just buy S&P and over the course of 10 years, your average return is 10%. But what they forget to tell you, just such a vague statement. It sounds good, like, oh, if I just buy every year in 10 years, on average, I'll have 10% return. It sounds good. But if you actually look at those 10 years, there's going to be some years you're going to lose 20%, 30%. And then one year you randomly go up 30%. And next year you don't make anything. But my problem with the statement is that what if a family emergency happens now? I need the money now, and I'm down 50% because the markets are just not having a shit year. What about then? So I feel like that context is missing in that statement.
I didn't understand what you're saying, but I believe then for the investment, it's when you decide to invest in the S&P, it's with the idea that money you will not touch in the next 10 years. You will have an emergency fund when it's needed with cash, but that money is invested and don't touch it. My second question, do you believe anybody can trade and should be trading instead of investing in S&P on the long term?
And I totally agree. If you have instead of keeping your money in your savings account, that's better off in a long-term ETF. Sure. 100% agree with that because, otherwise inflation is going to eat away your savings. The second question that you asked about if anyone can trade, I really do believe so. Yes. There's so many different ways markets can present and may help you be profitable. At the end of the day depends on a person. If you are very reckless in your life, you take risk and don't think about the consequences, then maybe at this stage of your life you should not trade because markets will humble you. But if you're at the stage where you know yourself very well, that you're really at peace with yourself, you know how your mind works, you know how you view the world, and nobody can really easily persuade your opinions, you're not really flip-flop, and you have the drive to better your life in a way, like you really know what you want in life, 100% trading can work out for you.
And what do you think should come first, the trading strategy or the mindset?
Mindset. You can give a stoic, a very wise person, a disciplined person, a basic knowledge of the markets, and he will outperform someone who has a very profitable strategy but is reckless, but he's not wise, he's not really disciplined. That the wise person will over time outperform the person with a very accurate strategy, but he has no risk management, no self-discipline, blames the market when shit goes wrong instead of blaming himself or herself. The wise person will outperform. So I really do believe mindset is everything. And at the same time, being in the market helps you time the market better too. So you need to show up every day as well. Even if you're not trading, you need to show up, you need to see the price move, journal every day. Even the days you don't trade, write down, S&P opened at 420 this morning. It closed at this. It had a 5-point run. Intraday action was choppy. Just briefly, you don't have to go full on detail, like minute by minute, but you can just say overall, market was up 10 points for the day, had a choppy condition. We had this X report, came out this, market reacted this way. Just journal it because I really do believe your subconscious mind is taking note of everything and is helping you build intuition. about the market.
So speaking of journaling, what is then your pre-market routine? What do you do before the market, during the market, and after market? What are your daily habits?
Yeah, so first thing that I do in the morning, so markets for me in the West Coast, they open at 6:30 a.m. So I'm up and running by, I would say 5:45, I'm up and running. You know, I don't go open my phone right away. I take first 15 minutes to kind of just get up, walk around, get my coffee, everything ready. And at 6 a.m., we actually have a morning AMA where professor gives like a daily briefing. I'll join that and see what that's about, watch the daily analysis videos to kind of prep myself. And the actual prep work is done the day prior before I go to bed. I already have my watch list ready. So it's a lot of work is done outside of the market. So when markets are open, it's an execution time. You don't have time to sit around like, oh, can I do this? Like, well, how does this trade look? Yeah, I feel like you should be ready. You should have your names ready for the week. You should have your alerts ready, your setup ready, and wait for the alerts to kick when the market's open. If the alerts kick, your system's saying fire, you're firing off yes, you enter, do your thing, exit, profit, loss, doesn't matter. And you know, one you have to realize one trade is one out of 1,000. So yeah, in the morning, wake up, get my coffee, join the AMAs, do the daily analysis, and then wait for the open. 6:30 market opens. If alerts go off, great. If they don't, I've accepted it. I'm not really like, oh, I have to trade today. I have to do something today. If I have no alerts go off, I'm like, oh, you know what? It's okay. I have more time to focus on my other job. This is my system. Very calm, very conservative, very reserved. So there's ways, you know, you might have interviewed people who are very active, day trader, you know, they trade on 5 minutes. Right? Some people have that, they have that focus. They have that where like they can spot like frequencies, like, you know, the setups on a small time frame, even though markets are going so fast in a 1 minute time frame. But some people can see a setup. For me, maybe I'm 28, maybe I'm getting old now. I don't know what it is. I wear glasses. I just can't see. My eyes hurt. If I look at the charts for too long, too many candles going up and down, my eyes hurt. I don't have the skill set to trade on a smaller time frame. I don't have it.
That is also the thing. You have to trade the trades that are fit your personality, the way you do.
Exactly,
There is no point in me trying to do your thing or you trying to my thing. It's like you go your way, what fits your strategy, your life, the way you approach and you see the market.
It's kind of like go back to the same thing where it's a mass ocean with hundreds and hundreds of waves coming at the shore every minute. Your waves might come way more frequently than mine. I have to be okay with that. I have to be happy for you. And like, you know what? There's a way to make money that way too. And vice versa. Like, we're all on the same journey, man. It's a beautiful market. It's a beautiful system. If you can look past the profit and loss, you can really understand what's happening here. It's life-changing. Think about it. You can be anywhere around the world, especially out of the Western countries, where you can have a very comfortable living wage by just making a few $100s a day. And trading allows you to have the freedom. That's the way I look at it. That's the life I want to pursue. And I'm slowly, like a turtle, slowly getting there. And it just helps me be more calm when I know I'm not being reckless with anything.
That's a very healthy approach to the market. Since you started the third time your account, have you experienced some big red days?
Yeah, I would say I still remember I was in a trade with Costco, and sometimes you can have a setup, your system's firing off, you know, enter, but stock just don't want to move. And that's the beautiful thing about the markets. Sometimes when you enter a trade, it goes exactly how you plan it to be, and it gives even more than what you expect it to. It blows past your profit. And sometimes you're like, okay, I've seen this setup before. I've seen it 100 times now. I've backtested it. I know exactly. And you enter, you're ready. Stock just doesn't move. And you're like, okay, maybe tomorrow it will move. And it just doesn't move. And so at Costco, I remember at one point I was down. But most recent one, this was in November. I was down like $2,000. At that point, it was still within my risk. It's not like I was over risk to anything like that. I was down around 2,000 Canadian on it. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to exit. There's too many other plays that are playing out how I would like, but I don't have the risk to contribute because I ended up risking everything in this one trade. And at this point, my accounts are around like 18 to 20,000. So, you know, and I was already down like 80% on this trade. I'm like, you know what, let's just cut the losses and reset and see what's going on. And funny thing was 3 days later, it ended up working out. Some trades, they just don't happen. And you can't predict what's going to happen. This game is about probabilities. You need to have all the information at your hands and you make the best decision. And my system was saying, go long on the stock, is looking ready. I'm like, let's enter. And it just didn't happen. But that's part of the game. Lost money. All good though. Happy about it now.
Is it now for you way easier to accept those losses, to accept the red days and just it's 1 of 1,000?
Yeah, I would say it's much easier now. Obviously losing money always sucks. It would have been nice if it worked out. But like we said, markets don't own us anything, man. They don't own you anything. They don't own me anything. They don't owe anyone anything. We can just make the best decision based on the information that we have. Either you profit or you don't. And now much, much easier to recover from a loss, because I realized at the end, when you take accountability, when you know everything is my decision, nobody forced me to press the buy button, it was me. So it makes everything more easier to digest. And when you know risk was managed, like I still followed everything in my system. When a loss happens, my rule is I don't trade for the remaining of the day. Let it digest. That's how the revenge trading starts. That's a downward spiral, man. That's a scary road.
You can now recognize from when things go down to push the stop button and say, okay, no, we're not going to go that road. I went wrong here too many times. Not today.
You said it perfectly. Over time, I just realized that when I know when emotions are taking over instead of the system. I just realize it now. And when I do realize that, I can tell when emotions are taking over, my heart rate would go a little bit higher. I'm clenching my fist because I'm kind of frustrated. I want to take back from the market. And these are patterns. Your body will tell you. Your body will tell you, even though your conscious mind is telling you that, oh no, we can make this, we can make the money back. And your body is telling you, no, the emotions are in the driving seat now. And maybe it's the age, maybe it's the wisdom outside of trading, everything combined. You have to be very conscious of yourself, man. You have to be very conscious. Be conscious of yourself. Know when you're angry, know when you're frustrating, know when these things are building up. And if you don't know about these things about yourself, then start for the next week. Do this exercise where whenever you're frustrated, sit back, what triggered you, and try to like backtrack how you got to that position. And you have to realize that once emotions take over in the trading, it's a scary road, man. You never know what damage might be done by the time the bell closes. And the emotions will go away. They'll go away eventually, and you'll come to your rational self eventually, but it might be too late by then. It might be too late. You might be where you could have been down, let's say 2,000, now you're down 10,000. If you're like me, I promised myself I cannot blow this time around, because I promised myself I'm putting down the pen if it doesn't work out. So all this, maybe it's the scars from trading, from AMC, GME, maybe just in personal life, is that I just know myself. I know my emotions.
Interesting road, because you go from a place, I want to make money, you have a system, and then the road to get the profitability is you learn about the market, but when you go to that probability, you start learning more and more about yourself. Biggest thing that I realized was I get to know myself first, and I have to know, when do I get frustrated? How do I respond to a frustration? How can I keep my emotion in check? Because from the moment you're angry or tilt or then the emotions are in the driver's seat, and that's very hard to take over. But now I can recognize, okay, if I go this road, emotions will be in the driver's seat. So I need to change the course before.
Not just trading, even if you let emotions take over, let's say, even if you're having an argument with a significant other, a family member, a coworker, a friend, when emotions take over, you're just talking bullshit at that time. You're just angry. You're not making sense at that point. The other person's not making sense at that point. It happens everywhere. It happens not just in trading. It happens in real life too. So when you do know that, hey, when I'm emotional, I don't make sense, like I'm just making arguments, what makes you think emotions are gonna justify you in trading? And same thing happens. You're not making sense in trading. You're ignoring your system, you're ignoring your rules, you're telling yourself you're making sense, but you're not. Just like how whenever you're in an argument with a significant other or whatnot, we think we're making sense, but we're just trying to shit on the other person. You know what I mean? And same thing what happens in trading. When your emotions take over, you're not making sense. You just think you're gonna make sense out of the market, but it doesn't happen. So emotions in general, I feel like as a man especially, you have to be very aware of. And that's what kind of Tate teaches too, just be in control of the emotion, and it helps you in every aspect of your life. If you're a rational person, it helps you trade better. In your personal life, it helps you be a better person. People want to be around you. It all works together, man. The more you apply the trading mindset to real life.
What impact did the trading mindset have on your real life? How did you change as a person outside of trading?
Oh man, it changed my life completely. I've been out of my friend circle, like the party circle, for a little while now. And I do see them once in a while, over a dinner. And first thing they say, they're like, bro, you're so calm. There's a Zen vibe around you. The thing is, I'm talking to myself every day, so I don't really notice these small changes. But when somebody sees me after 6 months or 9 months, they're like, holy shit, man, you look different. Because I've been working out religiously. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself outside of the screens, like away from the screens, because it helps me be better in front of the screens as well. When I look better, when I feel better, you set high standards for yourself then. And now, especially the money's coming in now, I'm actually seeing my account grow to the numbers where like, it's actually like, oh shit, I'm slowly getting there. It works in reverse too. Now then my workouts are getting even better because I'm like, okay, I have the money, I have to look better too now. You know what I mean? Like you just start to like yourself a bit more. So it's crazy how it's a ping pong relationship. The more the more better you do in trading, the more better I would do in real life, the more disciplined I want to be in trading. So I'm at the stage now where it's just like how the downward spiral, the emotions give you a downward spiral. Now I'm in upward spiral.
The same way that it works with small habits. So you have implemented habits of discipline, just very small changes. If you every day become 0.5% better, those changes will go tremendously with your financial, with your look, with your friends, with your surroundings.
It's the beauty, man. It's the beauty of this. It is like a game. Once you start to view yourself differently, it could be trading, could be real life. I feel like the world just looks at you differently too then, because you have such a high respect for yourself. And thing is, half of the people that I talk to, they have no idea I even trade. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for myself now. Especially like I'm in Canada, man. Like things aren't just not that good here. Cost of living is through the roof. Recession's like around the corner. The unemployment's rising. A couple of my friends are starting to go unemployed now. So I don't want to like, be in their face. Oh, look how much money I made today. I don't want to do that. It's giving me more respect for trading now too. Because these are the people that I grew up. I had like I said, I'm an immigrant, man. And if you told my younger self when I was 14, like, hey, one day you're going to trade in the markets, I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, so seeing how the world is changing around me now, it's taking my life more seriously because I'm like, okay, I'm on a good path here. Clearly, this is something that's not usual.
The hardest thing with trading, it's not the technical aspect of it. A lot of people see it when you start trading or see trading, okay, you have to have this technical knowledge. Of course, you need to have the technical knowledge. What is the person need to become in order to be a trader? And that is a whole lot of discipline, self-respect.
Psychological, it's the belief that you need to have. I think Tate talks about is that it's self-hypnosis. You have to tell yourself you can do it. And it really does work. At the same time, you have to put it into action too. You can't just say like, hey, I'm a good trader. Oh, I'm in great shape. I mean, you have to like show up every day, just like how you show up at the market. You have to go to the gym every day. And what you said earlier was really nice, is that the small habits eventually, it might not feel like anything today. Like, oh, I did all of this, but I don't look any different. Just like when you trade, you might only make $100, $200. It might not seem like anything at all, but over the course, like, 3 months from now, it's crazy. You look different, your account's different size. It really starts all within. You have to believe. You have to really believe that I can do this. Anyone who's similar listening to this, who has a story like mine, I hope this story kind of helps you as well. Like, you can do it. I really do believe it. And it's the small habits. Believe in yourself, respect yourself, be nice to other people, and it all carries over to the trading because you start to take in more. It's more than just profit and loss. It really is a power. Like when I walk away at the end of the week, going into the weekend knowing, okay, I made $2,000, $3,000, that feeling that I get is really like, it's a magical feeling because we're all fighting for money at the end of the day. The reason my family moved here was money. So money was a very like, oh, it's impossible to earn. Like you have to do so much. Like that's what I grew up around. My brain was so installed with like the software of you're not going to get money, you're not going to be rich.
And we also grew up with this belief, oh, money doesn't grow on a tree. Money is hard to get. Money is scarce. Money is dead. No, you cannot do it. Or we hear, no, you can't do this. Oh no, it's impossible. It's too big. You can get there. And then you start to believe that as well. It's also your job to flip the script and say, hey, it is possible. I can do it. I can put in the work. I can make the effort. I can
still be nice because not everyone can understand it. Everyone is on their own life path. They're going to share their experience and they might shut you down. And if somebody's listening to this video and they think they're on a similar boat, I would say go be quiet. Be quiet, focus on yourself. You don't have to brag about what you're doing. Even on your good days, be quiet. On your bad days, be quiet. On your good days, especially be more quiet because you never know what the other people around you are going to say. And if you look and that's the thing about the real world that I love is because even though in your outside world you're quiet, you still have this one huge community with actual millionaires in there that you can be open with. You can ask questions and nobody's going to shut you down. You show up every day, you have that drive, Next thing you know, I have an amazing group within the group now. Like we have these 4 or 5 people that I talk to, shoot shit with, and it's beautiful, man. These guys are like my brothers now. And I tell them every day, I'm like, I look forward to waking up every day and showing up, making money with my brothers. And it's great because just a year ago, I was in a completely different position. Maybe it's that fear of not being able to walk on this path that I'm taking it so much more seriously now. And I'm okay with steady gains. Nothing changed in my system. I'm still risking 10%. But now compound is taking over, because 10% just 6 months ago was $1,500. But now with compound interest over again, now the same 10% is 3,000 now. So the returns are eventually just going to get bigger on their own. And soon enough, it'll be 35,000 in my account. And then the risk will go up to 3,500, even though it'll still be 10%. And then it'll be 40,000. It'll be, well, the more money you have is scary because now you're responsible for it. So
I read about the story of a trader. Until he had, I think, 100,000 or 1,000,000 in his account, he couldn't make more. He started losing again. And then advice he got is like, fuck it. Every time I will start from zero again, because when I have this amount, I cannot do it anymore. Okay, zero.
And it happens. It's a thing. Because now I'm definitely getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I've been consistent for like, especially the last 3 months, I've been pretty consistent. And I'm like, it's definitely something back in mind.
It's loss aversion. It's like you don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's like especially knowing what the journey is, and I'm still not break even if I include the AMC and GME bags, but I'm still not like break even overall. But at the same time, I thank that journey now, because if it wasn't for that, this Pandora box of trading world would have never opened. I would have never knew what this was possible. And it's crazy how it works. It started with like just buying stocks, like an index fund or energy stocks, and buying and holding, to telling my story about trading. I would have never thought this would have happened. Right? So as long as you're aware, you ask questions, you have the drive, and I feel like anyone can trade, man. It's not something magical. Trust me, it's not. It really not.
Best thing about it, it's simple but not easy. Remember when you were in your deepest point, what advice would you give that person?
Going back, the best advice I could give that person is look within. Markets are markets. You cannot change or ask for it to do something in particular. So if you are going to trade, just invest in the markets overall. Just realize you have to bring your best self. You have to be your own best friend. If you're not in peace with yourself, do not enter the markets, because you're going to try to blame something that's completely out of your control. But you have to be within peace with yourself. If you know yourself, you know when your emotions are rising, you know when they enter the driving seat, you know how to like stop that right away. When you realize it, you snap out of it and you stop it. And if you're not at that stage, be your best friend. If you're not your best friend, you don't know yourself fully, avoid the markets. But if you are on a path, you think you know yourself, and you want something bigger from the life, don't let anyone tell you that this is not for you, because it really is. Like you said, it's very simple. If we make it complicated. And if you're your own best friend, you can make it very simple for yourself. There's hundreds of different strategies out there. There's thousands, man. If you need that community, we have the real world. Markets will teach you more about yourself in 6 months than what you've learned in your whole life. So that's my thing for the newer folks, anyone on their journey. If somebody tells you you can't do it, don't believe them, and be your own best friend if you're going to enter the markets. If you're not at peace with yourself, it's okay to just watch from the sidelines for a little bit longer until you're at peace.
When did you realize you got the click? You turned the corner and said like, fuck yes, I got it.
In October, I remember when a trade did not work in my favor. I forget which trade it was, but my reaction was exit, see with the new setup. And by the time the bell rang that day, I was already made my money back. But it wasn't out of a revenge or anything. It was just like a trade did not work out. I did not realize it. I'm like, okay, that one didn't work out. Exit, took out I think I was down like, it's options. So options lose value pretty quickly. But it hit so I lost 40% of it. But by the end, caught a different trade and I ended up being on top for the day. Even then, I wasn't like happy. I'm not gonna say like I'm sad or anything, but I was just normal. And when the bell rang that day, obviously when I was journaling, I'm like, oh, that loss happened as well. And something inside, I'm like, damn, I'm happy with how I executed the day. I remember I was like, damn, I did not react. I did not blame anything. It didn't work. It was such a smooth day, even though I took a loss too, and I didn't make any much like huge money. It was just such a clean day where a loss happened, then I exited, reevaluated it, found a different setup, entered, and it was just so smooth. So it's not like something magically happened, but that's why I think journaling is very important. It's one of the most important things you can do. It sounds, some people say, oh, I don't need to journal, but trust me, man, reviewing yourself, reviewing the day, reviewing how you felt when you entered the market, how you were feeling by the end of the day, it helps you know. And the day that I wrote down, damn, I feel content. I wasn't happy, I wasn't sad, I was content. And I'm like, damn, this was a great day. And then from there, it's like, once again, it's a ping pong relationship. When that trading day happened, I felt so good. And then I carried myself with my chest out all day. I'm like, you know what? Something just changed. So I would say that moment really did something. Just knowing that I executed a day very cleanly. It wasn't a huge win day. It wasn't like I was celebrating or going out partying. It wasn't like, oh, I lost a lot of money. it was just a little bit of everything.
I think that's a beautiful part here, because you say like, I knew I got it from the moment I lost and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I lost and I moved on. I didn't even notice. It didn't hurt me.
Because losses are part, right? They're part of the journey. They're part of the journey, right? So
yeah, it's like one of the next 1,000 traits. You said like, okay, this one doesn't work out, next one, and you kept the focus instead of letting it look one by one and go to revenge trading. It's like, system, I will lose sometimes I win, bam, let's go.
I look at it as a business. When every time I show up at the market, it's a business for me, and not every transaction is going to be a smooth transaction. If you open a business and you think every customer is going to be a nice customer, like, you're just naive at that point. The world doesn't work that way. Some days you're going to meet the most amazing customer of your life. Other days you're gonna meet the biggest dickhead of your life, who's going to give you like troubles. Even though the transaction is done, he's still going to give you trouble. But that's
Yes.
just life, right? You have a system, you follow it, it works, it doesn't work. But how you should not change how you feel based on a trade, just like how you shouldn't feel when you have an interaction in real life and it doesn't go the way you want to. Do you become a sour person? No, you still have your morals, you still have your standards, and when you meet the next person, you carry the way that you are. And same with trading. When you meet the next trade, you don't bring the old trade, or like, I lost money, I want to make more. No, you like, this is a new trade. I have to respect this trade, what it is saying, what it wants to do. Start implementing your real life self into trading. If you think you're being dick to people, you're very emotional, work on that. And I promise you that will carry on into your trading as well. Treat it as a business. This is serious. I treat it as my saving account. And every month I want to grow that savings account. I don't want a Lambo right now. I don't want a diamond watch or a diamond ring. I just want to grow this account.
Started with the biggest loss ever. Now, the biggest loss, legit broke me, but it molded me into this new person. So it's kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. I could have let that moment consume me fully, and I could have been sour against the world. I could have been like, fuck these short sellers, like blah, 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 fuck the world, like, this is an evil place. Instead of that, I'm like, I viewed it within myself and turned the biggest financial loss into the biggest financial lesson for me. And I'm on the path where I am is because of that mistake that I made. So nothing in life is bad, it's just how you view it. Be more optimistic. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah. And shout out to Ayush in the real world. Thank you so much, Professor Ayush. He's the best.